छत्तीसगढ़ के फोन कर देख सकला हम और साथ खुटिया सर Madam, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Ramesh sir,
Madam, am I audible?
yes, you are audible.
Okay, madam, shall we start? Hello. Madam, shall we start now?
Yes, you start. Sir has already joined. Ramesh sir,
Okay, okay.
please start.
Okay, madam. Okay, thank you. Very good morning to the respected speaker, Honorable Chairman Sir, Principal Ma'am, Director, Sir, all teachers, research scholars, students, everyone present here. With great pleasure, I am Dr. Ramesh Chandra Nayak, Professor and Head, Mechanical Engineering Department and President IIC of Synergy Institute of Technology, Bhubaneswar. Welcome you all to this impact lecture in collaboration with MOE's Innovation Cell, Government of India, Institutions Innovation Council, established at Higher Educational Institute, helps in planning and organizing round-the-year activities in the areas of innovations, entrepreneurship, and IPR to motivate students and faculties to pursue for their research activities as well as for startup during their academic career. And today, there will be one technical section with two lecturers. Title of lectures are Developing Thinking and Creative Thinkers and Using Technology to Develop Students. First lecture from 10:30 to 12 noon and second lecture from 12 noon to 1:30 p.m. Both lectures selected are common to all platforms, so participants will get benefit for their research and innovation activities. Thank you very much for joining us for today's Impact Lecture. Today, we are deeply honored and privileged to have eminent keynote speaker, Professor D.P. Mishra, Director NITTR Kolkata. He has completed his BSc Engineering in Mechanical Engineering from UC Bulla in the year 1987 and PhD from IISc Bangalore in Mechanical Engineering in the year 1994. He has expanded his research interest in the domain of combustion, propulsion, ancient Indian science and technology, computational fluid dynamics CFD, experimental methods in thermal science, atomization, and many more. He has handled 27 number of sponsored projects and 8 number of consultancy projects. He has developed exactly 8 number of software for various uses and applications. He has published 102 number of international journal, 128 number of conference papers, and 13 numbers of technical reports. He has also published 5 numbers of textbooks, 6 numbers of edited for proceedings. He has filed around 7 number of patents. He has been awarded and honored around 19 numbers from various organizations. He has also acquired 14 numbers of membership from various premier institutes throughout India. Synergy Institute of Technology Bhubaneswar was established in the year 2009 under our guiding luminary Sri Vinod Das, Chairman and Managing Trustee, Shivani Educational Charitable Trust. He is the architect behind all the success and development of this institute. Now, I am requesting to all participants, please mute your video and audio. There will be a question and answer section at the end of presentation. So you may put your questions in the chat box that will be answered by our speakers. At the end of section, a link for feedback and another link for assignment will be provided by us. So you all are requested to fill the feedback form and answer the assignment. The topic selected is a very interesting and useful for all categories. Now I am requesting Professor D.P. Mishra sir. Sir, please continue.
सबको मेरा नमस्कार and
Namaste sir.
respected Vinod Das, the chairman of the Institute of Technology and director and principal Dr. Raut and Ramesh, Dr. Ramesh, the head of the Department of Mechanical Engineering, and my dear faculty member, my dear students and faculty members. And I am really thankful that to entire family of Synergy Institute of Technology that they have given me an opportunity to talk about a very important topic on basically creative. The topic is basically about the thinking, developing thinking and creative thinking. Creative persons, creative persons. So what I am thinking that I will be asking few questions first, and let us understand the terminologies, and then we can start discussion on each one of them. If you look at today, people are talking about this creative thinking, critical thinking, deep thinking, like all those things. So what I am going to talk, basically, let us look at the critical thinking for creative thinkers. I can, put into that format. Question arises that what is thinking? And why do we think about thinking? That is another question comes to my mind. And if you look at the characteristics of a human being, and maybe other animals, but human being is basically a thinking animal. Without thinking, can we remain as it is? It will be very difficult for a normal person, for an ordinary person. For an ordinary person, it will be quite difficult. One can stay without thinking. But however, our ancestors have developed several techniques and how to feel the thoughtlessness. So let us understand what is thinking. Thinking is a process by which we will be, getting the thoughts and try to also think about a particular subject or idea or a topic. So if you look at that way, thinking is basically a cognitive activity and which is being carried out consciously to understand the world around us or a subject or a things around. Right. But question arises whether these thoughts from where it's, the thoughts from where they are being generated. In other words, who is the creator of these thoughts? Or from where does this thought come from? And if you people can observe this, your thought, you will find a stream of thoughts are coming. And it is continuously. It's like your, waves on the sea. It is going up and down. Both positive and negative thoughts are coming to our mind. Right? Mind is basically restless and turbulent in nature. Right? And in modern time, mind becoming more turbulent and chaotic. And question arises how to really use it. What we are doing, we are being affected by our thought process. As you think, so you become. Right? That is the saying goes on. And we also feel the way if we think positively, we'll be doing positive thing. If we become negative, then our mind will go astray. So therefore, what we are discussing here is basically a thing, right? And what is the then question arises, what kind of thinking we should have? What kind of thinking you should have? How do we think? Maybe in other words we can say. Now the thinking can be basically, you can think of maybe observing the things, right? When you observe, we think about it. And when what I'm trying to discuss is about how do we think. We observe and then think, right? We try to analyze whether good or bad or ugly, kind of thing. Then we analyze and find out that we also involved in thinking. We try to draw some inference and then we also think. Suppose I want to communicate. For example, I'm trying to communicate with you about thinking. I love to think what I love to say, what I love to not to say. And so also, Our life is to solve the problems. As an engineer, most of you are from engineering streams, so you are being taught how to solve the problems, and all these things are very essential, right, for making us an thinking animal. Of course, you are being trained for that, but unfortunately, these are not being talked about very explicitly to you. And you do involve in this kind of process. Now, when you are doing basically the any process solving problems or designing or some developing a product, or of course nowadays engineers are not involved all those things, although we are talking too big about it. But that is the job of an engineer, is to try to design and develop a product or a process, and for that all the analysis whatever you supposed to be done has to be undertaken. Now question arises, what is the critical thinking? Because critical thinking is very important, and your topic is basically developing thinking. But what I'm feeling that we will be looking at critical thinking. What is critical thinking? And today people are talking about also the deep thinking, right? Because the deep thinking is really very much being talked about today than what it was maybe 10-15 years back, because today is the age of artificial intelligence. Now this thinking, critical thinking, is what is the critical? So let us understand first. Critical thinking is basically we use for our scientific and engineering work, and so also in our life, because always we try to analyze, and today we are having analytical mind, and that is we call judgmental mind, and this judgmental mind is also spoiling our life to some extent. Particularly we try to judge every individual and put them down. That is the problem with our society today. And each individual is potentially divine, and he is having certain good qualities and bad qualities as well. And we'll have to look at what are the things he or a person having, instead of just pushing a person to the down. So critical thinking is basically a process of analyzing about facts, evidence, and what are the evidence around that, and what are the facts. And also when you talk about engineering sense, then you'll have to look at basically various material, matter, and other things, see that which is good, which is bad. And also when you are involved in engineering and science, you should have certain observations. So also in other places, we observe a person and see whether it is the person is is benign to us, or is it good, is it reliable, is it trustworthy. Although today it's very difficult to trust a person because all are untrustable nowadays. So similarly, and then when you do that, you'll have to use certain arguments or the logic, because and to form a judgment. That is basically critical thinking. And we always, and this although today we are following the Western people very blindly, but then we use our critical thinking to denounce the Indian things. That is the big problem with us. And we always try to see our own tradition, own things through the eyes of the Western things. That is really causing a colossal damage to not only to our psychic, but to the social and political and economical life of our people. So critical thinking is very important. Also, in our ancient time, people do use those critical thinking. They do promote. It's unlike the Western people or the Western religion. They believe in dogmatics and then some kind of book. Our Shastra says, "Yukti yuktang bacho grayam bharatapi sukatapi, yukti hinang bachang stejyam buddhatapi sukatapi." What is saying? That even the logical things you learn from a balat. Balat means a boy, like a young, what you call it? Balat means balak, child. From a child, you can learn. And even from the parrot, you learn if the parrot is talking about some logic. But if it is illogical, don't learn from a very learned person or from an old person who is having a lot of experiences. So therefore, you will have to use your critical mind to arrive at certain judgment about something before doing anything. That is good, very good. But however, too much of anything is bad, because too much of critical mind kills the innate nature of a human being. What is that innate nature? That innate nature is basically, if I ask this question, what are the characteristics of a human being? These questions might not have, been explored by the you people, or might not have come to your mind. This is very important. What are the characteristics? What are the innate nature of a human being, which is distinguishes from an animal? Of course, the human being is an animal. I call, or a lot of people also who say that man is basically a thinking animal. Right? So, therefore, what are those qualities? I think you people think about it. As I go along, I will be discussing. Let me now ask a question. What is, or what do you mean by deep thinking? Today, deep thinking is really very much talked about. Why? As I told, that it is basically the artificial intelligence and the automations and your machine learnings and other things are coming up in a big way to make the human life better. But according to me, this may spoil the human being to the point of no return because of use and abuses of those technologies. For example, like the technology is spoiling our people not to think. It is really making them dumb. They don't have time to think. They don't have mind to think. So, therefore, but however, the deep thinking is talked about. It is a thinking which is beyond what you think you know. Suppose, like for example, I know about certain feeling or certain things, but you will have to go beyond that. And how will you go? See, you can only go only when you are having certain driving force. And what are those driving force? We'll have to look at it. If your driving force is money, you cannot go. Your driving force is basically about what you call about the materialistically gain. You cannot really do a deep thing. Of course, now people are trying to understand the human mind of the deep thinking. What is the process? What are the things? And then they might be using in future about that. See, if you look at the particularly one is known as the cognitive thinking, like what we are involved in a critical way, we'll have to analyze and do that thinking. But there is also metacognition, beyond thinking. What is this beyond thinking? That is basically comes under the, deep thinking. And deep thinking is a very higher level of thinking which will get into the realm of the conscious, a subconscious mind. And it is really very important and very distinct. But I think people do not look at this moment the way I am thinking, because the conscious mind, if you look at, it produces a lot of thoughts and which are chaotic in nature. And this thinking process, the thoughts coming from the conscious mind, are basically being distorted and affected by the market, by the people, by your own experiences, and by around surrounding you. But beside that, and this number of thoughts which are generated are enormous, let me tell you. Like something people say is around 70,000 thoughts are coming to a general human being per day. What is some number people have given? Now, what are the number of thoughts are being produced in a human being? If you look at conscious mind, subconscious mind, there is a superconscious mind, right? Okay, people may not be knowing. People may not be knowing this term. And the subconscious mind, superconscious mind were basically terminology were given by the in English, of course, by the Aurobindo Ghost, right? And Western people are doing a lot of research on that. We do not do, because we don't have mind or time to think and do. We only involve in what you call taking food and then producing babies, and then and having a house or a something kind of enjoyment. So we don't have these things. So therefore, deep thinking comes about that. But the topic which I would like to also cover as a as given by your institute or this thing is the creativity. What is creativity? And what are the characteristics of a creative thinker, and how to improve the creative or how to nurture. You cannot really improve, how to nurture the creative. See, if you look at that, if you look at the creativity is a very innate to the human nature, because the man is a curious and creative creature by nature. By Mother Nature. Nature means Mother Nature. But unfortunately, the way we live today, in a very mechanical way, and we do not have really power to proceed on the path of creativity, because you people might have, some of you, I think maybe nowadays, sent to the school at the age of 2.5. Now, when you are sent to school at the 2.5, you do not have the time to play around. And I'll tell you, this is the crime which is going on in our country in the name of education. And in the school, they are mechanical in nature, so also in colleges, so also in the higher education. So they do not really allow you to grow, and then the creativity is lost because you do not know what is that. And you means most of the people. And that is a very bad part. Right? And similarly, you stop asking questions. Of course, a baby has a natural tendency to ask the questions. I have seen, even today also people are asking, babies are asking, but the mother and fathers, they don't have time. So also the, because today is not a joint family, people are living in a very silo, and even the father mother are involved in the office works and other things, and then they don't have time, and even they are having, they will be gluing to the TV or the internet or the mobile or the talking, like they don't have time. According to me, child is a child, human child, even or a baby, rather, baby is the greatest entertainment channel of the world. But unfortunately, we do not have time to, look at the circus made by the babies. So this is a very sad part, and therefore creativity is lost, and also most of the work is mechanical. And for example, I'll tell you, like when I look at higher education or in education now, the, the teachers, they do not have anything to really do, because most of the things are tailor made. So also your curriculum, so also your course is a very mechanical, and there is a very little chance to really involve in that, and you are not exposed to the life. So also the thing. Now coming back to that, creative thinking is about generating a new way of looking at the things in a novel, or the some ideas you have to generate. And nowadays in a higher education, very interesting thing going on. People are just looking at the Google, and then looking at something, and then they're trying to be creative. No, no, creativity cannot be nurtured in the way what we do. So therefore, coming back to that, we'll have to see that critical thinking is also very essential. So also the creative thinking. So I will be maybe another half an hour, we'll be talking about how to improve critical thinking, because both are required. And let me tell you, both are having a role to play, and there is a commonalities between both, right? But if one of them is being what you call lopsided, then the life becomes useless, according to me. It's like a bicycle where two wheels are required, to have this thing. And those two wheels are to be in motion for a cycle, for a bicycle to be stable, because bicycle is a very interesting engineering artifact which is being developed by human beings. There's nothing, no other vehicle is so good that what. Therefore, I love bicycle very much, and I always feel of cycling around, and that is the reason why still today also I'm using cycle. And it is inherently unstable, let me tell you. But to make the cycle to be stable, you will have to do the motion. So also both the wheels have to be running in a balance. Similarly, the critical thinking and the creative thinking, which are the two wheels of the cycle life, that is the important. And that balance is the key. And what in Bhagavad Gita is even tell, samattvang yoga uchyate, like that yoga is basically samatha, balance is the key. And for to have a critical thinking, you should have the power to ask questions. What are the questions? Because today people are not asking questions, and if they are asking the questions, they do not know also how to what you call persuade. They think that if I ask a question in the class, right, that means the teacher's job is to give me answer. Otherwise, he is not a good teacher. Right? As if teacher's job is to answer to the question. And interestingly, let me tell you that today, when of course maybe 2-3 years back, 2 years back, like when I used to go to classroom and you ask a question to the students, they will not answer. They will just mum. You ask them to ask question, they will also not ask. Then what do? We want to have a discussion in class, because class is basically a very boring for unless there is a discussion. For example, now I am talking. I am talking in a monologue. Monologue is the worst form of teaching, but unfortunately it is more popular because Western people have taught us that lecturing is the best form of teaching. Okay, lecturing is the best form of teaching. According to me, lecturing is the worst form of teaching in the world. Are you getting? You look at our scriptures, Bhagavad Gita, you just see, right, where the Arjuna is asking question, Krishna is answering, right? So also Krishna might be asking question and then answering. So this is the mode of a teaching and learning process. But unfortunately, Western people taught this thing and we are just following them. Now, question. A child has the innate power of asking questions, but once he, he is grown up and spoiled by this education method or education methodology adopted by us, that he will stop asking questions. Right? That is exactly what is happening, and we are spoiling. Therefore, I always try to encourage the people to ask questions. And always people say, "Why? Hey, should I ask a silly questions?" Like I remember that when I asked question, person said, "How could you ask us a silly question?" Then I wrote a poem. Question can never be silly. It can be a beautiful lily in the garden of knowledge. That is the truth age after age. Question can never be silly. It can be a beautiful lily in the garden of knowledge. That is the truth age after age. But we stop asking questions. That is the biggest, sad part of the modern life. So, but how to ask question? Of course, all of you know. But now, if I, ask you, what are the ways to question, and what are the types of question we'll be asking? You all know. Basically, it will be 6W and 1H. Okay. So, what is that? That is basically what, how, and what, when, where, why, who, like it goes on, total 6. And then of course the another H is how. And that is very important. You should, and critical thinking means, you'll have to use these tools. Now, critical thinking means you will have to use also the tools, whatever innate to you as a human being. What are those tools are given to us by the, you can say, Almighty God, or by Mother Nature, whatever you call, through which we learn, through which we enjoy the life, through which we live a life of a human being. What are those? Those things we will discuss during the question and answers provided you ask. What I was telling, I think I didn't complete that. Let me again start. That nowadays we are, I used to go to classroom and then ask a question and then answer the question and come, because the student won't answer the question. That is what to do. That is a very pathetic situation in the classroom. The students are more interested not in knowledge, they are more interested in on getting the grade. I always feel, hey, where are the students? If students are not there, so also teachers are not there. The students are not there on an average scale. Very few you will get a 1 or 2 curious person. who is interested to learn. Most of the things are basically grade seekers. They are not students. So the society is in trouble because they don't develop a critical thinking, and they stop asking questions. Then that is a very important tool of asking questions, genuine questions, and that questions should be answered by the person himself. He has to pursue. And when you ask these questions yourself, the answer will come to you, provided you pursue in your mind, in your activities, in your actions, and other things. Right? And those answers, whatever it will be coming to you, it will be ultimate answer. And for that, you should have a patience. That means, for a developing critical thinking, patience and perseverance is important. So also, when you ask the question, you should have faith in yourself. Right? And you should be free from the blind faith. That is another thing. Right? You should have faith that I am not asking a very silly question. I am asking a very silly. And when you will have faith in yourself, when you are having the faith in your self capability, and you also people are having faith in you, you should have faith in the Almighty and also the systems where you live. So today we are living in an environment where the systems, we don't have faith in systems. Now, and at the same time, I find some people, they believe, like for example, we are all blindly following the Western without thinking, right? So therefore, you are not critical thinker. So, but at the same time, I'll tell you that you should have a good observational power, because this observational power is a very important to become a good researcher. If you want to go deeper into any subject and also to find out something, that you have to observe properly, observe the phenomenon, observe the person who is listen properly. Like earlier days, therefore our ancestors were giving a lot of emphasis on listening. They call it shruti. And today, we are not using that power. Now, when you observe something, you will have also the time to analyze the observation in your mental plane. And for that, it has to, the observation has to seep into you. It will be having certain time. It should go for a very quiet or something, and then you should think. It will get into a subconscious mind. And that means it should deep enter into your mind. Scratch should be there. Otherwise, it will be going and coming. You don't have. So, and for that, you will have a self-observation. Know your mind. Where we are having time to think about our mind. Mind is, writing over us. Our mind became a big problem for us than that of the truth. See, the mind can be your enemies. Mind can be your friend. In Bhagavad Gita, there is a very beautiful sloka. Is there? Udareda atmanatmanam natmanam avasadayet atmana yatmaiva bandhuratmaiva ripurat. Your mind itself is your friend. Your mind is your enemies. That how you will use it. That today mind is basically murdering the life of us, and it became our enemies. And for that, mind is like a monkey, like it is moving all the time here and there and make all mischievous things. I call mischievous mind. And mind is always mischievous. Let me tell you. In Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna says, Arjuna asked to Krishna says that, mind is very difficult to control mind. Sri Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that asang sayang mahavao manadunni gracharam abhyasena tu kontaya vairagyena chitteya. By practice, by dispassion, you can control your mind and make it as your friend. So for that, what you'll have to do, you'll have to make a effort to self-aware about your thoughts, your feelings, your desires, your love, your all those things. You'll have to self-aware, and for that you'll have to give time. Where is the time? You don't have time to think. So forget about having awareness. And for that, you will have to, this also, some of this will be, particularly the self-awareness is very important for the uh, creative thinking. I'll come. And when you talk about this, you will have an active listening power, right? And when you have that, then only you can observe what others are saying, others' views and others. So therefore, it is very important to, do that so that you can have the critical. Let me talk about, I have already started, about the creative thinking. Creative thinking, for that, you will have to have a basically childlike behavior, whatever, when you're a child, we always stop, you say, hey, don't behave like a child. But generally creative people always will be like a child. They will be play with the ideas, even useless ideas, what perceived by the others. They wander in their dream because, dream. Because the dreaming is sometimes they will be indulged in daydreaming. But today, if you won't dream, then is the problem. If you are in dream, then you will be relegated upon by the society. And you should have a courage to even for exploring the illogical ideas. The ideas are illogical, but you will have to, do that. You should have courage. Like Thomas Alva Edison, like when somebody asked him that how many times you failed, he says that I failed 1,000 times before getting the bulb. Look at the tenacity of that person. He said that no, it was not a failure for me. I learned that the bulb cannot be designed or developed by 1,000 ways. See, that is the kind of a tenacity of a like Thomas Alva Edison. That's why also several people like Ford, like Ford and several others kind of things who have done wonderful work because of that kind of. They will not listen to the people around him who will be relegating or putting him down. That means you should have that kind of courage. And today people are very finicky about the things. You have to go beyond the boundaries. Like always people say that out of box thinking today is a very big thing. But what I am saying, there is some echo. Somebody. Can you please switch? Can you mute your mic? I think Siddhant Mia.
Mute your mic. I think Siddhant Mia.
Okay, now it is fine. What I was talking about is basically go beyond the boundaries. And when you go beyond boundaries, then only you can stay. That means it's basically going beyond boundary means, there is no boundary. Out of box you can think of, but no, there is no box you think, that way. So, and See, these creative ideas are germinated in a very natural way, like a flower blossoms in a garden or this thing. Provided you should have feel for the people around you, feel for the nature, feel for the living beings. And then you tap the creative energy of the mother nature. For that, you'll have to sleep on the lap of mother nature. And where we are having time to do that? See, that is the question arises. And of course, the market today is trying to make you to think about creative thinkers because they have spoiled you, in the very beginning in the name of living a life. They put the idea that surviving is the fittest by the Darwin, but I say that animal, that is mean for animal, not for a human being. It is unfortunate we got swayed with the Western ideas and we felt that we are, like animal, survival is the fittest. And from the very birth, the people are saying that, oh, you'll have to die if you won't do this. Then you cannot really be creative. Of course, you may be creative for the market for producing a product or something, but that will not give you elation and exhilaration or excellence you cannot reach. And you want to be creative, you enjoy and experience the life as it comes, and which is very difficult as we are giving too much emphasis on the critical mind or a judgmental mind. So therefore, we are really in a soup. And let me tell you, if you are having also very too much of creative thinking, then you become a mad. Of course, you become a famous later on if you are good enough. But however, your life, you will enjoy. But all people cannot go to that extreme. So therefore, always balance is the key. And for that, you will have to, I will discuss a little bit about that thing. And but at the same time, I'll tell you that you will go beyond your sense organs to become creative. But you should know how to use it, the sense organs. And sense organs should not, rule over you. But what is happening today, sense organs are ruling over us. And the market is helping us to, so that sense organs will be really become, market is helping us so that the sense organ, we become a slave to the sense organs. And creative thinkers, if you want to have, then you'll have to interact with the creative people, live with them, see that. And as I have already emphasized, you should have sympathy and empathy for life, not only the human beings, for life, for the living, all living beings of this creature. And then only you become a part of Mother Nature, and Mother Nature is creative, inherently. And you will have to, let me give you a little bit tips how to be, what you'll have to do. You will involve in the physical games, like, basically that will be games, because today the mind is very much aghast or by stress. For that, physical exercise is a must. So also, the pacifying the mind is important, because mind is all the time on what we call in jittery. Mental agonies and other things are there. And so therefore, the pacifying mind, and to pacify mind, you'll have to do maybe asanas, pranayams, and then, like you can listen to the soothing music. You can also involves in the kind of serving the people or animals or the plant trees. All those things are basically try to connect with the mother nature, to help. Because there is a beautiful sloka is there in Bhagavad Gita which says that how will connect. He's saying Sanni Mendriya Grama Sarvatrang Shamabuddhaya Papnuvanti Mameva Sarva Bhuta Hite. That means all living books beings are being taken care by you in your mind, in your physical, in your mental makeup and other things. Then you feel connected with them. You were disconnected. We became more selfish. When you become more selfish, you cannot be a creative thinker. And you should also feel that don't go with the flow. Go with the mass. Rather go with the flow of your mind. Don't go with the bedi chal jaise kehte hain na, like go with the mass. No, because mass is always with the driven by the markets nowadays. And recognize and believe in your intuitive power. So basically, I will not discuss about that. Intuitive knowledge is important. How to get intuitive knowledge, and for that, creative thinking is very essential. And the other things what I'm thinking to talk about is, let me what you call, for that you will have to go to your evaluate yourself, that Swadhyaya. That means you will have to take an inner journey for making to tap it to an infinite power lying hidden within. And you should go for a inner joy. The creativity gives us the inner joy. Jo anta sukha, anta arama, anta jyoti evacha sa yogi brahma nirvanam brahma bhuta adhigaccha. That means the infinite power is basically Mother Nature. You will have to go back to the Mother Nature to have a relationship with Mother Nature, because we are all part and parcel of that. With that, we can be creative, and we'll have to go back to our innate natures and leaving aside all the distortions made by modern systems, and also the go back. What are the natural nature of a human being? What I had told. Okay. So with this, I will close my talk here, and thank you very much. Now we'll have question and answer session for another half an hour. Thank you very much.
Hello.
Hello.
Sir.
Namaskar.
Hello. Sir, namaskar, sir. My name is Saroj Kumar Das, and I am from Synergy Institute of Technology, Bhubaneswar, and Assistant Professor of Mechanical Engineering Department, sir.
Yes.
Sir, my question is, deep thinking, are we going to gain freedom of thought, sir? If that is the case, then how myself or any students, they are going to use or make use of deep thinking to improve the critical as well as creative thinking at our workplace?
See, critical thinking is very essential for doing something in workplace. Okay.
Sir.
Creative thinking can be useful, may not be useful.
Sir.
Okay. Fine. Because that depends on the where you are being absorbed. Right.
Sir.
And the deep thinking is the ultimate thinking which will be obtained at a very higher stage. Not that every individual can go to the very higher level of deep thinking. Of course, the deep thinking, what people, particularly Western people, are talking about, that is not deep thinking, according to me. Okay, those are a little bit superficial deep thinking, you can call. Deep thinking is that means you will be connecting to your subconscious mind, right? And the deep thinking of Western concept is basically related to the conscious thinking, or maybe little deeper than the superficial conscious thinking. But Indian way of looking at deep thinking, which I have, really thought about it. Okay, that it is basically to join to the subconscious mind, and there is another deeper to deeper thinking is the superconscious mind. Okay, those are not by the meant for common people. Okay, according to me, you become a yogic or something, which will be, and that should not be used. Rather, it will be, if it will be used, then the whole world will be in turmoil. Today, even that whole world is turmoil because of abusing of the mind's power. Okay. So therefore, I would not talk about deep thinking. What people are thinking about, that is basically how to utilize for the artificial thinking or metacognition and other things, like kind of thing. Yeah. But I'll tell you one person, Gary Kasparov, I think he had told that when the mind, when the artificial intelligence ends, I think something I'm just trying to recall, that where the, where the mind will start, something like that. Like basically what he's saying, that the artificial intelligence is having limitation. Mind goes beyond that. That is the meaning. What Gary Kasparov, the chess player, he had told when he lost the game, he told something. I'm not remembering exactly. Okay, but how to get that? The going to the deep thinking or connecting to the subconscious mind. There is a lot of yogic practices are developed, and that has to be practiced. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
But I'm not getting any questions. So I have kept half an hour for question and answers because I like it, and in the process I learn a lot. Because if somebody will ask question, I'll have to think what to answer, what to not to answer. So let me ask you the questions. Like, what are the natural nature of a human being? These are all very simple. Okay, let me ask you, ये मानव जो शब्द है उसका अर्थ क्या है? I'm talking in Hindi, or why? Because in English you say what is the meaning of human being? Like what do you say? Are you a human being, or are you a man?
Sir?
Or not?
Sir, human being has thinking power, sir.
Thinking power, knowledge, skills. Sir, we both have knowledge and skills and thinking power.
But
Creativity.
animal is having also. Animal is not having thinking power.
Thinking power? Not as a human like, sir.
No, that
Sir,
is all right.
analysis power.
They are having. They are having. So
Sir,
they know, for example, do we know how to make a house for us? For example, I do not know how to make a house for me. Can I make a house for me, myself, alone?
Not alone, sir.
I can. Whether a bird can make or not?
Yes, bird can make, sir.
And then who taught the bird how to
Sir, continuous improvement of thinking. Continuous improvement of thinking by human beings.
Sir.
Okay.
Continuous improvement of thinking by a human being. That is also a unique nature of human being.
Human being. That means it will be go on organizing the thinking process.
Exactly.
Then
Depending
what
on the
else?
situation.
What else?
Depending on
Sir,
the situation and depending on the condition that we are developing our thinking or we are utilizing our sources. So that is the uniqueness of a human being.
And we also have, sir, behaviors.
Sir, learning from feedback.
Learning from feedback. That is good. Like learning, that means incremental learning, you can call. That means, and also we try to
Improve our,
teach.
improve,
Huh?
improve our, sir.
Yes. Right. What else? See, I have already given answer, right? What is that? Man is a curious person, you know.
Exactly, sir. Yes.
Okay. I've already told this is, I don't know
Always,
whether a dog will be
always
curious
thinking.
or a, huh? What are you saying?
Human being is always thinking. Always thinking.
Thinking.
Human being is always thinking.
I mean,
Yes.
thinking is okay, but curious to know.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, exactly. Yes, sir.
Curious to know. But then question arises, this is the one very great, characteristics which has driven the human being to develop so many things around us, including this computer, software, all those things. Right.
Hello.
Saroj Babu, upon tickets. Okay.
Sir, sir, namaskar, sir. I
Namaskar.
would
What
like to,
else? I will be okay. Please.
sir, I want to ask a question.
You are a student or you are a faculty member?
Faculty member
Aja,
from
aja.
mechanical
Okay, fine.
branch.
But all right, you go ahead and ask. But I will be more interested in student asking the question. Okay, fine. You please go ahead. Even all are anyway that way. Faculty both are now on that role. Fine. All right, go ahead.
Actually, as per the convention, Bhagavad Gita convention, what has happened that is best, what is going on that is also best, and what will be coming to us in our upcoming time, that will be also best. So, is it true that our destruction, if we are not channelizing ourselves in a proper manner, then that will be a best, or it is not good?
It's a very good question, but is a distracted thought process. No. What Bhagavad Gita says that it is being talked about is a part of Gita Sara, what people are propagating. That is because you are in tension. In order to overcome that tension or something, stress, then say, look, whatever is coming, let it be best. Why it is being talked about? Because you should not worry too much about the fruit of the work what you are doing, and that we do all the time. We are doing. We are all concerned about whether I will be successful or not, whether I will do it. What he says that don't worry about fruits of the work what you are doing. You should concern or you should concentrate on what you call the work, the best way you can perform. Right? Karmasu kausalam. Right? Karma ko jo, like work you have to do in a perfect manner. For that, this technique is used not to dissuade or not to really affected by the what you call worries that being generated in your mind, but not to have a list that whatever is happening, I will be, for
Excuse me, sir.
example, just hold on. Let me complete.
So that is fine, but
No,
I am
just hold on. Let me complete. I am not complete. Okay, let me complete first. That doesn't mean that somebody will come and slap you. Will say, look, it is good. Let me you show your another face to get slapped. No, that is never Gita talked about. Okay.
But, sir, one thing I would like to continue that I don't have a measure to estimate whether I have done properly or it is not properly done. But upon that, I have given my exact or best effort. But still, I am not getting exact answer or result consequence after my effort applied.
Yes.
So, and also I am not succeeding, or I am also not getting a fruitful result. So, is it true? is it the best? If I'll be destroying ultimately after giving my best effort, then that is also
What
correct,
you
or
will be
that is also
destroying?
good?
Nothing is destroyed in this world, you know. Nothing is destroyed. This a time is a relative term. So therefore, whatever you do, you will get it back. That is the law of the universe. Okay, you may get that in your lifetime. You may get in the right now, or you may get later on. Okay, or in your next birth. So therefore, one need not to worry about that. But you are having the right to do, but you don't have right to have to get the fruits, and fruits will come automatically.
Sir, on what basis I can judge that I am having a next birth?
Which one?
Actually, this life I am continuing, but after this life I am also getting a life, and there also I am having some activity. Likewise, I'll be
Yeah,
continuing.
yeah.
How I can believe that there will be a next birth for me?
You will get a birth. I mean, because as long as you are having some desire to be fulfilled, you will go on getting birth.
Sir, I think we are going out of topic, sir.
Okay,
Ji,
fine.
this is
All right. I think we are going out of topic. That
exactly.
is good.
We are going out of
So,
topic, sir.
what I am saying that basically, if you get into that, you'll have to leave. I'm just telling one input to this Kritivasa here, because this question might be something in mind. You should leave. Several research is going on in Western country. Many master, many lives. Okay, one book is there. You can read. It's by the psychologist of the Western country. There are several. If you search rewards in Google, you will get several of them. We are not working on it. Okay. So I think we'll come to the topic. What I was asking the question, that is, what are the natural characteristics of a human being? I've already told you one is curious.
Serious thinking.
Curiosity.
Right.
Curiosity.
Right.
What else?
Behavior.
See, behavior, all right, it will be there. Even the dog, a lot of people might be rearing dog. Is it dog is having behavior problem or not? Behaves or not? Behavior. Huh?
Communication.
Communication.
We have.
Yes. Communication is, of course, higher level of communication.
Exactly, higher level of
Communications. But communication also are with the human being. Other animals. Okay?
Yes, we have.
Right.
Yes. And
Sir, love for nature and others.
Yes. That is love for nature.
Nature.
Right.
Love for nature.
Love for nature is very important. And then what else? I've already told you, because I think I was trying to capture whether you are getting, this is an assignment kind of thing, whether you are getting. So the topic is, curiosity. Curiosity means then comes creativity. Am I right? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Already I've talked
Yes,
about
sir.
it. The topic is creativity. I've already told man is a curious and creative creature by Mother Nature. Anybody disagree with this?
No, sir.
Right?
And
This is nature. What else?
Sir, we have sometimes a responsible agent. Human being.
Responsible means I'm not getting what you're saying.
Human beings, they act as a responsible agent. Responsible, they bear a lot of responsibilities.
Responsibility you take, that is good. But all right. But today we are more irresponsible. that is good. No, but I will put that into a little different form.
Sir.
I call it cooperation.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay.
That would be the word, sir. Correct.
That word will be more appropriate. Yes or no? Huh?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But today, is it there? Cooperation?
No,
Even the family people are not cooperating.
No.
Forget about in institution. Fine. So that is very inner nature. When you work together, you feel great. And that working together has given a strength.
Sir.
And that made the difference from the animal. Of course, animal also do have that. For example, they work, fight together. He might know इसको कहते हैं वेड़ीचा, right? But what else? Other things?
Sir, one, I think, sir, all human beings, no, I mean, they're related to God. I do not think any. You talk about any animal and all, isn't it, sir?
Yeah, but a higher, see, that is a very good point you have told. I don't think, I do not know, I have not got into the mind of an animal, but they may not be having that concept of
Sir.
God or the Almighty.
Almighty, yes, sir.
Or our scriptures talks about that we are, because other animals do not think about God. Why?
Sir.
Why? That is the question. Okay?
Their mind is not developed, I think.
Exactly. And
yes.
they do not have that realization
Yes.
that you are that God.
Yes.
See, that is the Western people always, God means something staying somewhere. No.
Somewhere else, exactly.
Ishwara ansi jiva avinashi chetana amala sahaja sukharasi. You are a part and parcel of the God. You are the God, like.
Yes.
But not all people who are listening, or including me, are God. I mean, who can reach the Godhood, but we are having the power to become a God, to be all potential. It's like your thermodynamics, Helmholtz potential or Gibbs potential. We are having potential of divinity, dignity, infinity, and that is important, and that only human being can think about. Okay, these are the all qualities. Unfortunately, I don't know whether students are getting that, because these are all alien terms to the people in modern world, unfortunately. Because see, that is one. And what else? Other qualities? Very powerful tool what man is having. What is that? Concentration. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Concentration. Power of concentration with the man is too much, let me tell you. And that's why we could do. But today, the concentration level is very poor.
Yes,
the people. Because of education. Because of modern way of living. And we are calling developed. Right? We are developed or underdeveloped or overdeveloped.
Developed.
See, these are the innate natures. Okay? And what else? Compassion.
Compassion, yes.
Right?
Yes.
Compassion, cooperation. Right? So, and these are qualities, like, and then sympathy, empathy, all those things.
Yes, they're all.
And if you profess all those things, what you will get developed, which is not there with the other animal, or they cannot, even if they try, that is competency.
Competency.
And competency is the harbinger of all the development what we could see. Am I right or wrong? Even materialistically, even spiritually, even any form of development. Okay? So now my question, I think another 10 minutes are there with me, because you people are not asking. Let me ask the question and give answer, Okay. But the students, they have not asked. They are not their mum. I am really, because they should ask more questions than the teacher, I ask a question. What are the, see, I've already asked question in the process. What are the tools available with us which makes the different from other animal kingdom, or the other animals, What are the tools available with us and which are very powerful? Of course, those tools are also available with us.
Technology.
Yes.
No. Technology man has made. No, it is not available with us.
Sir, power of analysis, analyzing anything.
Okay, that is fine. That is basically the very developed mind. We are having a very developed mind. Right. That is
Problem
fine.
identification.
Uh-huh.
Problem identification.
Yes, problem identification. So let me put the question a little bit to get the answer what I'm having in my mind. What are the tools through which we learn? Let me ask you, which are innate to the human being. See, we are all involved in teaching, learning. Am I right? What are the tools part of our body or part of us through which we learn?
Mind.
Huh?
Mind.
Sir, memory,
Memory,
mind,
fine. Okay.
Mind.
What else? But those are not, for example, if I, close down those tools, even if mind is there, they will not learn. Okay, what are those? I have already given you answer. In clue. So let me give you answer. Should I give you answer now?
Yes, sir.
Our
Yes, sir.
ancestors say this, that is knowledge. For acquiring knowledge, those tools are required. What are those? For knowledge, because man is always, fond of acquiring the knowledge. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
So what are the tools which are innate to us, and what our ancestors say that, look, these tools are for acquiring the knowledge. Those tools are very, like in one word it is being talked about, is known as Gyanendriyas. Gyanendriyas.
Okay, sir.
Are you getting? See,
Sir.
what are those now? I have already given answer,
Yeah.
already talked about it. I told senses, go beyond your sense, then you will be creative. When you are within the sense organs, what is that? You will be having critical thinking. Suppose my sense organ all will go away, my mind is there. Will the mind be useful or useless?
No, sir.
Huh?
Not
So,
useful, sir.
look at that, our ancestors. You go and anywhere in the entire world, in the history, tell me who was coined this word Gyanendriya in the entire world. But our ancestor talked about those are 5 sense organs. Okay, 5 Gyanendriyas, 5 Karmendriyas. So unfortunately, these are not being part of the modern education system. Right? And we do not know how to use them. Rather, we know how to abuse them.
Yes.
Misuse them. So therefore, where creativity will come when you do not know your sense organs, and you cannot really be a critical thinker, you cannot generate knowledge which will be useful. Now a question comes to my mind, why will have harness the knowledge? What for? Why a person has to go after the knowledge to become creativity, to develop deep thinking, to critical thinking? Why? What for?
Because sir, the knowledge has transferred to the society after all, eventually. Because the knowledge has to be transferred, no, sir, to the society.
Yes, you are right. Let me tell you. But whether today we are being taught, or we are getting a degree, or we are enrolling for what? For getting food.
Exactly, getting food, sir.
Hey, what is that? That is not for that. Lokahitartham Jnanarjanam. Whether we are doing that, when you start doing that, you will become automatically creative.
Yes, sir. Correct.
You will
I
develop
agree,
your
right.
deep thinking, You will develop for this thing, empathy, sympathy, cooperation. You become a human being. The modern education is making man inhuman. They are making the, what you call, asuras. What are the characteristics of an asura? दंभ दर्प अतिमानश्च क्रोधं पारुष्यमेव च अज्ञानं चाविजातस्य संपदम आसुरीम. I will not explain because this is from Bhagavad Gita, right? I think I am on the dot time, maybe another 2-3 minutes. So therefore, I am expecting some question from the students. I think I am talking more in the question and answer than what other people speak. Okay. I am expecting some question from students.
Excuse me, sir.
Okay, tell me, Priyansu.
Yes, sir. My name is Priyanshu Behra. I'm from branch CSE. I have a question that how we can improve our thinking power.
How you will be improving thinking power? So for that, what you will have to do, you will have to use your sense organs optimally. Okay, that is the first,
Yes,
because
sir.
through that you get the informations, right? And
Yes, sir.
that is the first part, because that disturbs you for thinking. Your thinking to actuate you or propel it in a proper direction, you will have to take care of those things. That is the first step. Next step, you will have to observe and self-aware about that to utilize or that to have a thought process. What you'll have to do, you will have to basically have a driving force, understand the driving force for you to do something. You should indulge in some work which will be service oriented. Serve the people, serve your father, serve your mother, serve your people around you, that or the people, poor people or something, that helps you to develop a benevolent thinking process, right? And avoid the negative thinking, and let me tell you, I think a very good thing is coming to my mind now, that how to do that, how to develop a better thinking process. Simple living, high thinking is the buzzword when I was a student. But today, complex
Opposite.
living and negative thinking. Right? This is totally opposite, So therefore, you will have to live a very simple life, simple living, and high thinking. Nowadays, people talk about this, the deep thinking, right? So therefore, when your life become very simpler and other things, then your thinking also will get refined, and you will be right. And for that, let me tell you little practical tips also. For that, there are various techniques are available in our country. And first is that what we do, you to do puja. Every day you have to practice puja, and then you are having japa, you are having meditation, pranayam, physical exercise. You should play some games, physical games, not video games. Okay, video games is really problematic, right? And those things, and also you should go for a. Let me tell you another things is crossing my mind. Beautiful sloka is there in Bhagavad Gita. Yukta ara vyarasya, yukta chastasya karmashu, yukta sukna bhava bodhasya, yoga bhavati dukha. That means you should take proper food. Yukta ahara, and vihara means recreation. You should go for a recreating the mind, recreation, and it should be proper. And yuktara viharasya yukta chestasya, that means you should put your effort, but too much of effort also, you should not worry. And sopna bhava, you should have dreams, dreams to see, to observe, and then all will be balanced. Then only you will Subhasmita, can you put your mic off? Okay. So, any other questions?
now, now I'm requesting, sir, actually, our second section from 12 noon.
Yes,
So,
I'm through. I'm like.
no, sir, no, sir. Just a minute. So now I am requesting Professor Prithivas India, Assistant Professor Mechanical Engineering Department, to give both of them.
Thank you, sir. I, Prithivas Khuntia, on behalf of Synergy Institute of Technology and the entire fraternity of the institution, first of all, extend my most sincere thanks to the Almighty God for making today's event a resounding one. With His blessing and grace, we are able to make this event what it was. On behalf of my institution, I extend a really hearty vote of thanks to our keynote speaker, Professor D.P. Mishra sir, who spared his time from his busy schedule to grace the occasion. Today, we had an opportunity to hear your thoughts in particular experience, and this will be appreciated to encourage us in our future events. I am immensely thankful to our Honorable Chairman Vinod sir for his continuous pampering towards this kind of events. I would like to give my honest sense of appreciation to our revered director, Professor Chitra Sen Jagaddev sir, for his unstoppable nourishment for the conduction of this kind of co-curricular activities. I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks to our respected principal ma'am, Professor Dr. Jogeshwari Raut, for being the catalyst towards the disciplined accomplishment of this event. I am immensely thankful to our beloved HOD as well as the President of IIC, Professor Dr. Ramesh Chandra Naik sir, for his week-long perspiration towards the controlled conduction of the event. I need to mention my deepest sense of appreciation to all the staff members for their enormous cooperation with the event. Then, last but not the least, I would like to thank all the participants, students, for their patiently hearing and boost the spirit of the event. In a nutshell, I would like to give my heartful regards to all individuals who spared their valuable time to make the event significant. Thank you all. Jai Jagannath.
ठीक है, सबको नमस्कार, धन्यवाद.
Now we are moving towards our second lecture for today's section. Very good afternoon to the respected keynote speaker, Honorable Chairman sir, Principal ma'am, Director sir, all teachers, research scholars, students, everyone present here. With great pleasure, I am Dr. Ramesh Chandra Naik, Professor and Head Mechanical Engineering Department and President, IIC of Synergy Institute of Technology, Bhubaneswar. Welcome you all to this second lecture of Impact Lecture. In collaboration with MOE's Innovation Cell, Government of India, Institutions Innovation Council, established at HCI with help in planning and organizing round the year activities in the area of innovation, entrepreneurship, and IPR to motivate students and faculty to pursue innovation and startup during their academic. This is the second lecture for today's section, and the title is Using Technology to Develop Students. This lecture selected is common to all platforms, and we hope that the participant will get benefit at the end of this section. So today we have the keynote speaker, Professor Dr. G.B.Nando, sir. He is the Professional Fellow, Minerals, Meteorological and Dr. Nando is a professor of eminence in the field of rubber technology. He has over 39 years of teaching and research experience at the Indian Institute of Technology, Kharagpur, West Bengal, in the field of high polymers and rubber technology. Professor Nando completed his postgraduate study in chemistry MSc 1973 from Barampur University, Odisha, followed by postgraduate diploma in high polymer and rubber technology (IIT) in 1974 from IIT Kharagpur. He further pursued his research at IIT Kharagpur in rubber technology and received his PhD degree in 1979. He has published over 200 research papers in peer-reviewed international journals and has 10 patents to his credit. Of his 6 patents are in foreign countries like UK, USA, China, Philippines, Indonesia, and Sri Lanka. His 8 index is 24 and has 3200 citations. Professor Nando has supervised 24 students for their PhD degree and 60 students for their MTech degree. He has contributed 5 chapters in 5 different technical books. He has successfully completed 16 sponsored research projects and 27 consultancy projects at IIT Kharagpur. His major field of research is rubber technology, polymer processing, polymer blends, and nanomaterials. Synergy Institute of Technology Bhubaneswar was established in the year 2009 under guiding luminaries to Vinod Das, is the chairman and managing trustee of Shivani Educational Charitable Trust. He is the architect behind all the success and development of this institution. Now, I am requesting to all participants, please mute your video and audio. There will be a question answer section at the end of presentation. So the selected question will be answered by our keynote speaker. And at the end of section, a link for feedback and another link for assignment will provide by us. So you all are requested to fill the feedback form and answer the assignment and send it. The topic selected is a very interesting and useful for all categories. Now I am requesting Professor G.B.Nando sir. Sir, please continue.
Ramesh sir, G.B.Nando sir has some network problem. She will be joining soon.
Okay, madam. Okay, madam. Okay.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Sir, namaskar. Sir, namaskar.
Namaskar.
You are audible.
Namaskar.
You are
Namaskar.
audible, sir.
Yeah, fine, fine. Okay, namaskar. ସେ ମଝିରେ କଟି ଯାଇଥିଲା ସେଥିପାଇଁ ମୁଁ ଚେଷ୍ଟା କରୁଥିଲି ଯେ କନେକ୍ଟ କରିବା ପାଇଁ।
Okay, sir. ठीक है.
Sir, switch on your video, sir.
ଭିଡିଓଟା ସୁଇଚ୍ କରୁଛି କାଇଁ ହଉନି। ସେପଟେ ଆଡୁ ଅନ୍ ଅଛି ତ ସେପଟେ କାଇଁ ଅଡିଓଟା ଅନ୍ ହେଲା ଭିଡିଓଟା କାଇଁ ହଉନି।
वीडियो ऑन नहीं हो रहा। नहीं तो ये तो ऑन ऑफ कर रखा है इसलिए नहीं हो रहा ना, ये इसका तो क्लिक किया तो
और कहाँ पर है?
Sir, am I audible, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
No, I am asking G.B.Nando, sir.
That side you have put it on already? From that side are you controlling?
Sir, now you can continue, sir.
Okay. It's fine. Laptop, it was going on well, no problem, no there. इसमें तो ऑडियो तो सुनाई दे रहा है.
Okay.
Now your video is on, sir.
Video is on? Okay.
Yes, sir. Both video and audio is on.
Okay.
Now
fine.
you can start, sir.
या. So अच्छा हमारा ये कैसे आएगा जो How can I see the slides? Yeah, I have.
Sir, now your slides are also visible, sir.
Sir, please unmute your audio.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Hello. Hello.
Sir, your full and your slides are also visible.
Now, are you able to hear me clearly?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, all of you. Professor Yogeshwari, Professor Kuntia, and all others who are present over there. Good morning. So it's interesting that I have been asked to give a topic which is really very critical one, which is using technology to develop students. So initially I was thinking whether what should I talk about it, whether I should talk about technology or development of students. So then I just decided that okay, I'll be talking on the technology basically. So here I'll be talking on technology developments in various ways. That so in general I have to, because it's a general talk, so I want to specifically talk on the technology. So that basically I don't know how many slides have been already gone possibly. So just I'm coming back. I have to come to my first slide basically. Oh, there's a problem. Okay. Now I'm okay. Now actually regarding technology, I would like to highlight that a country's growth index is dependent upon its technological development. So that basically when you talk about countries and which country is more developed, when you talk about, then we always point out that the country which is technologically developed, it is the best top country. I mean, we say about it, that the most developed country. For example, we consider that America, the USA is most developed country, which was the case in the last century. And because they have achieved achieved development in technology in many aspects, like they have reached the moon, and they have explored a nuclear bomb, the nuclear technology known to them. So we consider that America was the most developed country. But subsequently, then we also came to know that Russia also sent people to men to move. I mean, men to space. So then, the second most developed country was considered to be Russia. So like that, and UK, Europe, they are also considered to be most developed countries. Like even Japan is nowadays the most developed country. So how the country's development or growth is being considered or being analyzed is that basically it is due to the technological development. A country is known to be the most developed country. Now, when you are talking about the development, technological development, Then what is this technological development? What is this technology in fact? So basically, technology is basically defined as the applied engineering. Now, when engineering is applied in some applications and for the benefit of the human life and human society, then we call that, okay, it is the technology. On the other hand, engineering has been defined as the applied science. So applied science is known as engineering and applied engineering known as technology. So when we are talking about technology, then we are assuming that the country is most scientifically developed, and then only we say that there is the most developed country. Now, yes. So now, what are the technology? And the technology has been divided into three categories, or three types basically. That is semi-radical technology, incremental technology, and disruptive technology. Semi-radical technology is basically the technology which is already known and it is a little bit improvised, and to get better products or the better processing or in better way in getting in better profit like that. So when you are talking about industrial development, and then you are talking about that the technology is improvised or maybe technology modified, then that also is known as your semi-radical technology. Then comes to incremental technology. That means technology is being developed in-house from time to time, constantly and continuously, then that is known as your incremental technology. And disruptive technology, that technology which creates a creates basically most impression. I mean, it creates a very impression, or should I say, it's changes the already existing old technologies. Then only we call it a disruptive technology. I'll come to that one and clearly in a few minutes time. I'll come to that one. So now I have just cited a few examples of the semi-radical technology. That is very, you may see that it is very common things I am talking about, but really it is the case. Now, when you go to the last century, you find that in at that time, when you go to a shop, you buy the materials which are being sold openly, and you buy it. Either you take a container from your house, or you can a bag or something, and you take it. Then he adjust it and give it to you, or evaluation give it to you, and you pay money. So that is the older technology. And but the presently what is being done, this has been modified, that the people are not selling their products openly, but they're selling the products in packets. Either it's a paper packet or it is a plastic packet. They are selling it in the form of packets. So it is little bit improvised version. So that is why you can call it as an increment or say semi-radical technology, because by this process they save time, and they save time and also become faster. It become easier. So it is a semi-radical technology. Similarly, oily type of liquid sticky materials and liquid ingredients are packed in pouches are being sold without taking containers from home. So now you'll find that everything is available in packets. You go to a big bazaar or you go to any mall or any other small shops also, you'll find that everywhere it's being packed. So that means the technology has been now developed, that is from open selling of the materials, ingredients, they are now selling in the form of pouches or packets. So that is an improvised version of the materials, and that is called semi-radical technology. Now, so I'll come to my topic, because I am from Rubber Technology Center of IIT Kharagpur. So we have been dealing with rubber for the last several 30-40 years. So actually, I would like to highlight about the development of rubber technology in the country and in the world also. Now, when you talk about rubber technology development, you'll find that it's a very interesting phenomenon, because rubber was not known to many people around 500 years back. So So when I'll just take a small story, I'll tell you, because there is some time, I hope. Now I have already lost 15 minutes, so I feel I will be able to finish before that time. So what happens actually now, Columbus, you know that people consider that in history, you have read that Columbus tried to discover India, but of course he failed. But ultimately he reached a wrong place in the South America, which is known as Haiti. Haiti means it's very close to east of the Brazil. So when he reached Haiti, it was an island, and he found that natives, I mean, all natives type of people were Adivasi type of people were living over there, and he had to rest over there. So he found that they were playing with the children of those natives were playing with a ball, which was a solid ball, which was having a bouncing effect. So then he asked that, what is this ball? No, what is this you are playing with? From where you got this one? They said that this is caoutchouc. Caoutchouc means it's a whipping wood. So it is coming from a tree. That is, it's a liquid, or it's a latex coming from a tree. Just like it's a milky fluid, white milky fluid coming from a tree. So they were very curious to find out such a material which is having this property. It's a milk type material, but how come it become a bouncing ball type of thing? Then he brought samples over here, analyzed it. Then it was found that it is the liquid became a solid ball, and it was. So a lot of at that time Europe, a lot of research was going on. All chemists were there, so they tried to analyze it. Anyway, that's a different matter. But people wanted to use it for the benefit of the human being, or human life, or betterment of human life. That is what actually the technology meant for. So they found that they could not use it, but they could the latex liquid could be brought and made into sheet form, and roughly on drying over the rocks, then they tried to make a slipper type of thing, but it was sticky during hot summer, and it was hard during cold climate. So they did not use it properly. So, but in 1819, I'm talking about, in the 19th century, the Thomas Hancock, he tried to mash the sheets into powder so that he could easily dissolve in a solvent. But what he did is he developed a machine called pickle machine, in which the rubber was fed, I mean the material was fed and crushed inside. And then it was supposed to become powder, but it didn't have a powder, it became a lump of mass. So then he was taken aback that he was not successful. Then what happened? Then he left that job. It's not coming. It's not a good material. And he left it by disgust about it. But that pickle machine is presently the forerunner of the Banbury mixing mills used in the rubber industries. I'll come to that later on. Now again, in 1823, Mackintosh, another gentleman, Britishers, he found out that rubber which is coming out of the tree is called a natural rubber, is dissolving in a solvent called naphtha. So then when it got dissolved, then it became easier for him to make a solution of that one and spread it on a cloth. Then he got the rubberized cloth, and that is being used at the forerunner of the present day waterproofing clothes. Okay, so from nothing, from a wild rubber plant, how technology is getting developed, that I just want to highlight to you. Okay, so then like that he went on, and the major development took place in 1839 when Charles Goodyear in USA discovered that the rubber could be getting harder by putting sulfur into it and heating it, and that process was known as a vulcanization process. So then when he found that it's giving a very hard and tough material, then he got very much excited, and this is really the breakthrough of innovation in rubber industry, rubber technology. In fact, that's the breakthrough. When rubber was found to be hardened and toughened and could be made useful, then it was a development. I can call it. It was a disruptive development, I can call it, and because it had changed the whole scenario of the rubber people or rubber industries. Then people tried to repeat the same thing and make some useful product out of it. Now, similarly, so they were using that one after curing with sulfur and after heating with sulfur and rubber. They were using in vehicles or in wheels of the horse-driven vehicles as solid tires. And but in 1845, a person called Robert William Johnson, what he tried to do is that, because at the time we were under British rule, no, so he took this material and then he tried to make a tire for his son's bicycle. So what he did is that he said that it's making solid tire is very tedious. So he introduced air and the cushioning effect of rubber, and he somehow tried to make a pneumatic tire or air containing tire, air filled tire. So he made it, and that he left it because it is just for his cycles tire. So then he left it, and then. But in 1888, this was going on till 1888, when John Wade Dunlop, he found out that, and he tried to improvise the Thompson's pneumatic tire, and he tried to use it for motor vehicles, and he did it and patented it in 1888. That's why you'll find that John Wade Dunlop is a very big person, and in his name many tire companies have come up. So that means he was very successful in making pneumatic tires for motor vehicles, and this has given a new turn in rubber technology and tire industries, because at that time automobile industry were coming up. So the tire, for running automobiles you need tires. So then naturally the tire was solid one. It was difficult to run. It was heavy, and more oil was consumed. So then it became a pneumatic tire. It became lighted, and you can easily move, and you can have a very good cushioning effect. So then this technology was developed, and this led to the rapid growth of the automobile industry throughout worldwide, actually, not only in India but worldwide. And that's what actually. But at that time, people were preparing for a world war. So naturally, they were more interested for military vehicles to be provided with this type of tires. So this went on, and now, but one thing was that since these tires, what they made were actually having a tube inside it. So it was a tire with tubes. The tube was actually containing the air under pressure. But when you run on different roads, then it might get punctured. So when you puncture, then you have to remove that tire, and you have to open the tube, then you have to repair it, then you can replace it. So it was a very tedious job. So because of that, but it was going on for a long time. But later on, another development took place in this area, that people, when adhesive industry grew, adhesives were also made from rubbers and polymers. So then rubber adhesive grew, then rubber to rubber bonding was very good. So neoprene rubber was used as adhesive. So then people tried to make the patches with the adhesives and cover it with a plastic one. Then when there is any puncture, immediately they remove it and then patch it and leave it. So that was another development that rubber industry had. So it is a number of such development, and then tubeless tires came into the picture, and nowadays you'll find that everywhere tubeless tires are being used in motorcycle, in basically bus, car, truck, and every tire, tubeless tires are being used. So now this is the growth that I am just narrating to you, and this is due to technological development by the people in the industry. And now, so because when the tubeless tires were developed, then not only that it prevented much patching or puncturing, but also it added to the added to the running of mileage of the vehicles, because it could reduce the weight of the tire, so that vehicle weight could be reduced, and it could last longer actually. So that is what is in the development is. Now coming to another other development, I will first finish up this one, then I will go to other developments. Okay, like that it was going on. Then World War occurred in 1819, and then subsequently it was found out that this is a polymer, and till that time polymer was not known. Till 1820 polymer was not known, rubber was only known. So people did not know how to make rubber outside the tree. So they were very much worried. So research was going on in Germany as well as in the USA, but ultimately it was found out that this is a polymer. So people tried to polymerize it is polymer, and it's made from isoprene. So people tried to polymerize materials like divalent materials like PVC and like that. So ultimately synthetic rubber was produced in 1828 in Germany, called GRS and GRM, that is SBR and NBR. Subsequently many other polymers were developed, and in 1950 stereospecific polymers were developed, and in 1970 thermoplastic elastomers were developed, and 1990 it's not 1990, it is on 1850 and 1870 and 1890 nanocompounds were developed. So like that it went on, and thermoplastic elastomers was 1970. Sorry, I'm correct. 1970, and these are tubeless tires for the vehicles. Already mentioned about it. So now I will come to the other. This is about the rubber technology or rubber development. I did not go in details of the technological aspects, but I am just talking about the developmental aspects and technological development aspects I will just touch upon. Now I'll come to the incremental innovations in rubber technology, that is organic amines were developed in 1902. Owen-Slager developed amines, and which are used as accelerators. And 1904, carbon black was developed as a reinforcing filler. These are all incremental developments, and textile fibers are developed in 1910. So like that it went on, and then okay. So basically these developments take place in-house, you can call it in-house, or of course by the different companies, and for the upgradation of the products and improve productivity and performance of the products, which will save time and cost, so that it will make more profit out of it. So now coming to we have left about the incremental. So now I am coming to the incremental development in other areas. That is basically you talk about in other areas. Now I am coming to other areas. 2007, Apple company first launched iPhones to substitute the landline and wire telephones. Now, when Apple company launched these iPhones, then people were interested to go for these iPhones, or basically called mobiles, and but they again further develop internally by changing the model to sleek ones, then improving the speed, camera quality, and graphics to incremental technology. This forms a process integral part of the innovation, and so basically if there is a process is tedious and cumbersome, then they have to be taken away or they have to be removed, and it should be replaced by easier processes. So that is the main objective. In our field also, in rubber technology also, this has been done. As I mentioned to you that when a pickle machine was developed, it was not serving the purpose. So gradually in 1911, Banbury's internal mixers were developed. It was similar to that of the pickle machine, but in a different roads were there instead of with spikes. So this development made it easier to process rubber with different ingredients, and also to reduce the waste and eliminate the human error. So, and gradually these machines were provided with microprocessors, monitoring systems, and so that process parameters could be controlled, and you could get a better product within a short time, which is cost effective. So that is what actually automation has helped. So automation also helped in the rubber industry, or in rubber compounding has helped. This is called open mixing mill versus blended mixing. So open mixing mill, you are in two rolls, you are just mixing the rubber with other ingredients, and in Banbury, when you are mixing the cloth chamber, it becomes very fast. Here it may take half an hour, but here you will take only 4 minutes. So naturally you save time, and the mixing is very good, and so product quality also is uniform and consistent. That's what actually the development helped.
प्लेट एटा को वाप्स रे करथिले एटा मो गाडी रे मु करिवि तो हैं.
So just I'm giving a general example.
CM.
So this was the older version of
Play Store
steam, water, power mechanization. So just like this is steam engine, and later on conveyor belts were used for assembling the component to make products. But in last case, recently, automation has been introduced, and the machine does automatically. You don't have to do much. That's what. So this is what. Now, coming to Toyota's reputation. Now, Toyota is a well-known company in Japan, and they basically use the philosophy of Kaizen technology. Means continuous improvement. What they do, they continuous improvement. Basically, they go on developing their products continuously in their research laboratories, so that they land with a very high quality product. So that is what actually the Toyota's believe, or Japanese believe, because they ensure maximum quality, low waste, and improve the efficiency, leading to higher productivity. That's what actually Japanese people follow, and that is why they are doing very good product. They are always making. Now people are also interested to buy Japanese goods, like cars, vehicles made in Japan. Is very much in demand in India. Now waste reduction is also incremental innovation, and it's, globally it is being highlighted. Globally it is very much in demand. People want to reduce the waste as much as possible. A small reduction in the waste can save cost tremendously. So we need to reduce the waste to that extent. That is why people are now talking about zero waste technology. So everywhere people are talking about zero waste, means no waste should be there. So whatever material is being coming out, then that's how to use it. That's most important. When you submit a project, people will ask you that what about the byproducts, and what is the byproducts, how they are being used. So we have to be very good in the technology, and so that we can see that no waste is there. or the waste is being used for some other purpose. So here companies are using the artificial intelligence technology to optimize the waste efficiency and recycling of the waste.
ଜମା ବନ୍ଦ ହେଇନି ଚାଲିଛି ପୁରା ମୁଁ ତ ଲାଇନ୍ କଟିଲାଣି ସେଇଟା ପ୍ଲାନ୍ ସୁଟ୍ରୁ ଡାଇରେକ୍ଟ.
Now coming to disruptive technology, as I mentioned to you, in rubber technology also there are some disruptive technology developments in one of the that is which is bring a breakthrough in the development of the products or materials. Because if you are developing a product, if that displaces or you can say in the other term disrupts an established technology, then that is called as disruptive technology. Just as I have mentioned to you that in rubber industry, vulcanization is one of the disruptive technology. When you curate the rubber, then it becomes a superior material and can overcome all other materials in its application. So that means it shakes up the industry or a product through breakthrough innovations. There are so many examples. I can give you the personal computer is one of the examples. Internet, smartphones, 3D printing, and these technologies have changed the way of human living. Now, if I go very specifically into details of these developments, I can cite you some examples like reading books. Now, when you go to the last century or even last century, you will find that people who are very interested to read books. We are also reading. We are interested to read books, and gradually this trend has changed towards the end of the century, and since 2004. In 2004, people started reading e-books, and now it has become a trend to read e-books only, and nobody wants to go for reading the books written in papers or nice papers. So at that time, people were loving to read books because of a unique smell and a feeling for the book and love for the book. They were loving the books, but now people have forgotten about that. They are just reading e-books. They have now they are loving the computers and reading the e-books. So this is basically a disruptive innovation. Computer and e-book is a disruptive innovation. That means it has replaced the whole idea of printing books. Although still books are being printed, but this is the trend now. People want to go for more e-books. And also the market has also changed accordingly. Now you'll find that another development is the 3D printing, is a very recent one. So three-dimensional printing is very much useful now, and with the help of digital model, this is being carried out in many applications. It is being used in rubber technology also. It is being used, and in many other applications being used. I will just highlight a few of them. So what is that being done is that computer screen. You can visualize the spatial aspect of the physical environment, and this is being designed and tried to make a print in a computer, and then it became a solid effect to that one practically. So this is very useful for military applications and also to civilians and for urban planning. These are the used for various other areas. In urban planning also it is being used. You find that nowadays when you go for buying a flat in a building or in a apartment, you'll find that you'll find a beautiful picture. They are projecting it, and this is the 3D printing. They have made it so that it looks very beautiful. You will be attracted to buy one flat from there itself. Similarly, satellites is being used, and space industries it plays a very major role. But this development is affordable. You can afford it.
SSD କେତେ ପଇସା ପଡ଼ିବ?
3200
କେତେ GB?
256
Now, smartphones is another technological
That's what I said, like,
development or technology development. This is just, with people have been using telephones earlier, but after the development of smartphones, nobody wants to use any landline telephone because they are being wired and there is a space is limited. You can't move around with the telephone. So that is why these telephone people are very much using it and very much interested. And because just by clicking a button, you can get a number of functions, which is not possible with ordinary telephones. So that's why the development of smartphones has changed the way of our living. And so this is another development in the communication field, basically. Similarly, coming to the e-commerce. So, when you want to buy some items from a shop or grocery shop or some other place, then you go to the shop and buy it, which was the trend till date. But the development of the mobile phones and smartphones, this trend has been broken down. You don't have to go anywhere. You just click a button and you can order anything you like sitting at home. Starting from a pin to a car or a mobile car, whatever you like, you can buy it. And for that, many apps are nowadays available, either Amazon.com or Big Basket or so on.
The e-commerce.
Similarly, you can avoid the travel to different places and you can avoid. And so this is basically preventing your infections. During the COVID-19, nobody was allowed to go out, and government has declared that you should not go out, you sit at home and buy it online. So the online business has started during COVID-19, and for the last 2 years, so people are now.
हेवी वर्षा खाया कि वर्षा बारे देखिए रे कौन हेवी वर्षा हो तो हेवी हला हला होनी हेवीली आवाज निहाती ऑनलाइन इक्विस करते कट्टी लगा रहा जी कोड दा रोडियल
Ramesh sir, I think there is some network problem with G.B.Nando sir.
Start everywhere. এটা ইউটিউব বুঝলি এই সিনটা এই ইউটিউবটা এটা আমরা চলছে এটা এই ফটোটা ওখানে চলছে রেড দেখুছেন চলছে বুঝলি
You sit at home and with the tip of finger you just a taxi from any online companies like Ola, Uber and Driver, etc. And so travel has become easier. Now coming to the artificial intelligence, which is the buzzword now. You find everybody talking about artificial intelligence. What is artificial intelligence? It is the mind behind the robotics and the drones used widely now. So that is, it is replicating on the human brain. You'll find that the human brain has millions of the neurons in it, and the neurons, when you are having any thought, then it gives a vibration, and those vibrations the neurons, by those vibrations, the neurons get connected. So when they get connected, they make they make a figure, and that figure you can tell it, or you are just speaking about that figure. That gives an impression. That impression actually you are able to speak or tell or do things. So you are talking about the mind behind robotics and the drones which are being used. That is, there is nothing but it's a sort of sensors. So the robotics and the mind or the drones, they have a number of sensors inside them, and when there is any wave is coming or touching or hitting it, then the neurons or the neurons get connected, just like mind neurons. So these are getting connected, and then they perform the duty. Or you'll find that if they are not connected immediately, then they will be losing it actually. So in a human brain also, the human brain has some one million of neurons, and there, but the thought comes around 60,000 thoughts comes at a time. So, but all the thoughts are not being materialized because many of the thoughts are being lost. So suppose you are thinking something to do, if you don't do it immediately, then you'll find that thinking is gone and that you cannot do it, because they have a lifetime. So when a thought comes, the thought has to be implemented immediately inside the brain. And for that, what is being done is that the neurons must get connected to each other. When they connected to each other, then they will have capacity to perform the job. So if they are not connected, then they cannot perform the job. Similarly, same thing happens. That is, in a human brain, you will find that you are not using 100% of the human brain all the time. You are using only maybe 60% or 70%. Similarly, in artificial intelligence, you are knowingly making only 60% efficiency of that brain, artificial brain. So by 60%, your work is being solved. So that way it helps and it imitates the human brain. So this the artificial intelligence in the mind. Okay, artificial intelligence entered our lives through the smartphone devices and Google's big mind, Apple Siri or chatbot, and all provide customer service at any time. Now coming to, I'll finish within I think time, no problem. This is what actually artificial intelligence can be presented in black and white. It's artificial intelligence and machine learning, both AI ML. So when you learn, you have to learn artificial intelligence as well as machine learning, and deep learning is a part of the machine learning process. Now, what is of course, many of you might be knowing about it. Artificial intelligence can be explained as algorithms that are capable of performing tasks normally require human intelligence, such as perception, decision making, and language processing. So it is an umbrella concept. In fact, it's an umbrella concept, and it's made up of various subfields such as machine learning and deep learning. So, and it's being spread over geospatial data. So all these data, because this is basically a accumulation of data. So artificial intelligence, what it does, that is data only that gets assembled or accumulates. So these data that is generated are spatial in nature. You have to exploit the data. One is to exploit the data using automation through artificial intelligence and deep learning, leading to basic solutions. Now, this artificial intelligence and geospatial intelligence, they converge to deliver solutions. So, artificial intelligence and geospatial intelligence, they come together to make a solution or a decision. They make it. These can be used in precision farming, disease prediction, and predictive coaching. So that is, this artificial intelligence now being used everywhere, not in any particular field not in only electronics or computer, but it can be used everywhere. In medical science, in agricultural science, and in policing. Policing means basically in controlling law and order. These are also being used. I already mentioned to you about the artificial intelligence, and it's a subset of what we mean in that is machine learning, deep learning. And this artificial intelligence and geospatial intelligence, both of them come together. They help in planning, predicting demand, and identifying the margin prospects, as well as optimizing service delivery. They do a lot of business. So being very helpful in business. Now, see, Amazon's smart device like Amazon's Alexa, Microsoft Cortana, would be the capable people in these smart devices. Now, coming to another important development, that is self-driving cars and drones. These are very high-profile examples of this disruptive invention, disruptive technology invention. Now, how they work?
से मोडेम कहउछन सेटा एक्चुअली आउटपुट देबे से मोडेम कहउछन सेटा हम यूज करन नै के ताकर लैंड देला बरे हमर आउटर को एंट्री कर दी बोला आ सेटा रहला सेटा हम वाईफाई चलिबो बुझबल
basically, as I mentioned to you, that self-driven cars, and they work by collecting data and converting into action. So their neurons, the AI and SI, they come together. The AI and SI, GSI, they come together, they make solution, and the solution gives order. Now, nowadays people are talking about smart people. Many are talking about smart. Oh, you are very smart people, okay? Or very smart person. The ordinary kids become smart. How they become smart? By gathering the knowledge worldwide and through acquisition of data and information. So the person who has more data, more information, he is considered to be more intelligent and more knowledgeable. So it's basically a data collection technology and information gathering technology. What is smart technology? The personal computing has the smart technology. What we are talking about is just a history of these technologies. What we have narrated now, or you can say the summary of these technologies. The personal computer has displaced the typewriter in 1990s and changed the way of life, the way we communicate and we do the work. So, and later on in 1990s, the Windows operating systems were developed, and this disrupted the television industry. So, how this one interesting technology develops, other technology is being going to the background. Emails. Now, emails, people are now using emails, transform the way we communicate with people, displacing the letter writing and greeting card, the postal card industry. So I am just summarizing the developments. Cloud computing. You know that people are using now cloud computing as a disruptive. It is a disruptive technology which has been introduced in the business world, which provides host services. Similarly, social networking was made possible for personal use, and to communicate, it has displayed the telephones, emails, instant messaging, and even planning. This is an example of this. This is the cloud service platform. Smart cities, smart hospitals, smart highway, smart factory, everything is being connected, interconnected in the cloud services platform. Now you come to the development in communication technology. Now in we communicate through handwritten letters carried out by personal messengers.
Meeting
in the
access.
many in the last millenniums
Sei
they have been
tale
using.
ସେଇଥିରେ
But this is no more existing now because telegraph was again
when turn up
another
everyone want
technology
to
which was
invited
invented
must to join
in
ଏଇଟା କରିଦେଲେ ହେଇଯିବ
1837. It was also
ବା ଅପ୍ କରିଦେଲେ ହେଇଯିବ
disruptive technology invented
ଆଚ୍ଛା
in
when turn off
1837
everyone
and
won't
telephones were
access
invented in 1876. So
ହେଇଗଲା
this
ଆଉ
reduced the burden of sending people messages through messengers or
including people your
messengers.
organization
But with the evolution, the role of personal messenger was carried out by postal services in the country up to 20th
ଦୁନିଆ
century.
ସତରେ ଦୁନିଆ
When
ପ୍ରକାର
later
ଜିନିଷ
on,
ସବୁ ଜିନିଷ
it
ସତରେ
was
ଜାଣିବା ଉଚିତ
it was changed to
ଏମିତି କ'ଣ ଅଟୋମେଟିକ୍ ହବ ବୋଧେ ଯିବ ଦେଖିବା ହେଉଛି ନା ଦେଖିବା
later on it was changed
ହ୍ୟାଣ୍ଡଲ କରିବା ବୋଲି
ନେଲାନି କାହିଁକି ତାହେଲେ
the change to
ରିଟାର୍ନ କଲେ ନବ ବୋଧେ
smartphone
ସେ ଥାଉ ଅଳ୍ପ
people
ସମୟ
are
ତ
using. So that's why I can call it as a
when turn
smartphone. This is
off
the
everyone
smartphone
won't
age.
invited
So this period
asked to join
after
আচ্ছা
we
invited
can
must
say
asked to join
2000, we can call it smartphone age.
including people আচ্ছা
This is the result of continuous development in telecom technology, and so okay, smartphone devices were developed and now it is under application in various places everywhere.
ଓ ଏଇଟା ଶୋ କରିଦେଲା ନାଇଁ ସାଢ଼େ ଗୋଟା ତ ଲାଷ୍ଟ ଆଉ
ପ୍ରେଜେନ୍ସରୁ କୁଆଡ଼େ ଗଲା ଦେଖୁନାହାନ୍ତି ତ କାହିଁ
क्वेश्चन है चर्च
କଟିଗଲେ କଟିଗଲେ
कटन
ହିନ୍ଦୀ ଇଂଲିଶ ମିଶେଇକି କହିବ ସବୁଠୁ ବଢ଼ିଆ ଏଇଟା ସବୁ ବୁଝିପାରିବେ ସବୁ ନାଇଁ କି ଖାଲି ଇଂଲିଶ ନିଜେ ଇଂଲିଶ ନୁହଁ ଇଂଲିଶ କହିବ ଅଧା ଲୋକ ବୁଝିପାରୁନାହାନ୍ତି ଶୁଣି ତ ପାରୁନାହାନ୍ତି ଉପରେ ସାଉଣ୍ଡ ଟିକେ ଅଲଗା ଶୁଣାଯାଉନି କି ହିନ୍ଦୀ ଇଂଲିଶ ଓଡ଼ିଆ ଯଦି ଲୋକ କହିଥିବେ ଓଡ଼ିଆ କହିବ ଟିକେ ନା କ'ଣ ମାରା ହେଇଯିବ ହଁ କହୁନ ତାପସ ଦାସ ସମସ୍ତେ ପଚାରୁଛନ୍ତି ଲାଇଭଟା କେମିତି କରୁଛନ୍ତି
Portion you can use for separate one purpose, and the rest of the you can use for different purposes. And so this 5G technology is coming up, and in some countries it has been introduced already. It has made the communication technology more robust and ubiquitous.
ହାତ ଅଜୁ ଦେଇଛୁ ନା ସିମ୍ ଉଠେଇଛୁ ସେଇଥିରେ ଆସନ୍ତୁ ତାହେଲେ ମାଗି ନିଜେ
Now another important advantage of this 5G technology is that it has connection density very high because of the heavy use of the sensors. So sensors will collect the data from the surrounding and send them to designated servers. The servers will connect to the internet. So in this way, this 5G network does work very efficiently, and because its density is higher and better, it supports around 1 million devices per square kilometer area. And in case of 4G, it only covers 2,000 square kilometer area.
କିନ୍ତୁ ବଢ଼ିଆ ଆସିଲା ଫୋକସ୍ ଆସିଲା ଦେଖିଲି ଏବେ ଆସିଲାନି ନା ହଁ ଏବେ ଆସିଲା ମ୍ୟାଡ଼ାମ୍ କେମିତି କରନ୍ତୁ ତମ ମୁହଁଟା ଥିଲି ଏବେ ଗୋଟେ ସାର୍ଭିସ୍ ଆସିଲା
Now we are talking about AGV, auto driven vehicles.
ସାର୍ଭିସ୍ ଆସିବ
Smart mobility vehicles that can drive themselves, autonomous driverless vehicles. It has been already introduced in many countries, and in India also it's trying to be introduced. The people are trying to introduce it. They are basically automatically guided vehicles, are called AGV. What is being done is that they are making a program. They are making a program because AI is being used here, so they are making a program in the warehouse, and by following a predefined path, and this is being guided by markers or wires. So according to the program, this vehicle will move, and naturally to reach the destination and come back as it is being directed. So it is very useful not only for passenger movement, but is useful for many industries like mining industry. In mining industry, one has to have these vehicles to go through the narrow channels or tunnels, and then they perform the job, then come back. So this is basically useful for mining industry, where driverless many mining trucks are being used in the quarries for a long time. Now another development is that LiDAR. LiDAR is light detection and ranging technology. So what it does is that this technology being used also in the automatically guided vehicles, because this has the capacity of viewing in all angles. 360-degree angles it can view and view its surrounding, then it can make the decision whether it will move forward or not. So this is a very advanced development. You will find that this is the AGV vehicle, and now it will sending a signal. So now there is a zebra crossing, so it will stop here without going further. So like that, these are all being programmed and guided. So these are the development of the AI and GSI. Now similarly, you can go talk about smart factory. Now this is a network of connected machines which will perform the sequence of operations of the manufacturing process. So in the factory there are a number of machines, so they will be interconnected, and which will be, and there will be a program. The HADD network will make a program. The program will be fed to the machine or to a server, and that will control all the machines and execute the production. So this will be done by the robots basically. So the time and work will be done by the robots, and the execution will be done by the whole machine. And once the product is being made, then the product will have all the data about its designated manufacturing process. Whatever program you have made, how you made the product, that will be already there in the product itself. So if you see the product, by which process, what he did, how much of this material he has added, how much of that material is added, at what time it made the addition, or that everything will be recorded there. So this is a very interesting development, and it's called smart factory. Now these are the case of a robot has been shown here. There are other areas of applications of this 5G network. It's being used in defense, healthcare, and agriculture. All details I'm not giving here. It's beyond the scope of mine to give this. So there are disruptive technology I am talking about. So there are around 12 disruptive technologies in different areas, artificial intelligence is one in oil and gas field, renewable energy, global internet penetration, automation of the knowledge work, and Internet of Things. This is another technology actually. Internet of Things, another technology. Cloud technology is another one. Advanced robotics, autonomous cars and vehicles, and this is next generation genomics in the medical field it can be used. And this is augmented reality. So in various 12 fields this is being used. So this is the pillar of the technology development in the present day. The artificial intelligence and ML is the pillars of the technological development now. Now you see, and the 8 technologies now coming under that is Internet of Things. This I already explained to you. I will not go to this. Now in conclusion, I can say that disruptive technology has changed the world scenario in fields like engineering, industries, education, travel, communication, banking, and healthcare. Healthcare, I missed, I think, healthcare, and so on. So this is a very developed technology. So basically, what we learned from here, and this is the 4th industrial revolution is coming up. So industrial revolution we have already heard about it. Now this is the 4th industrial revolution coming up. It's coming due to the developed or disruptive technology that is being emerging in combination with the geospatial intelligence. So artificial intelligence combined with geospatial intelligence will develop this disruptive technology, and there are already pointed out that there are 8 such technologies are emerging, and this is the impact of the AI, artificial intelligence. So now this is the technological developments that I have spoken to you, and in all the fields this development taking place. In my field also it has taken place before the development of the disruptive technology or the artificial intelligence. But people in rubber also, they are trying to use this artificial intelligence in making products of high quality, and so this is coming up. Now I hope I have been able to meet your requirements and talk about the technological development which has already taken place and which are coming up in future. And the students, if they are present over here, they will be learning about this new development, and they will learn more about it and try to the human brain faster and faster. He is supposed to be the most intelligent person. So I hope you will all in this function stage. Thank you very much. Hope you are all listening, because I am not able to see you all. Just I am presenting only.
Yes, sir.
Are you able to?
Sir, thank you so much for yes, sir. Thank you so much for accepting our invitation and sparing time.
I am not able to see you all actually. Earlier I was able to see you, but it was I don't know what happened in the meantime.
Now my video is on, sir.
Oh, your video is on.
Are you able to see me? My video is on, sir.
Okay. Let me just try to close it so that I will be able to see you possibly. Oh yeah. Fine. Now I am able to see you all. Yes.
Sir, sir, I have a question.
Yes.
Whether e-book can binding book?
Sorry? Binding groups?
can replace the binding books. So now you are fond of e-book.
No, I mean,
We are not purchasing, before we are purchasing the binding book, hard copy of the books.
Oh, book.
But
Okay,
now
okay.
we are not, the students are not purchasing the hard copy of the books, rather
Okay.
they are studying from the e-book.
Yeah.
So whether the e-book is a replacement, what do you think?
See, e-book is definitely very helpful because you can see it very fast, and with the click of a finger, you can read the book immediately. And if it's available free, then naturally it's most welcome. But you have to pay it, then I'll suggest that you go for buying the hard copy. If you are paying for a e-book, then you don't go for that. But if you are paying, getting it free, then it's better to go for that. And otherwise you buy hard copy. So hard copy is basically in e-books, what the author does is that he goes on revising from time to time. So if there is any mistake or if there is anything he has to add, that he can do it, but that is not possible in the bound volumes. So that way e-book is very good in the sense that you can immediately see it. As soon as it gets released, you can read it and you can get the information. That's important. But suppose one book you want to keep it with you, then you can do so. Even by keeping the soft copy of that one, you can keep it. So it all depends upon the person who is buying it. Because one thing is that even I don't prefer going to the e-books. I don't, because I don't have time. I can't go through the computer, can sit for hours together to read a book. So I prefer buying hard copy of the books so that I can take it somewhere and read it. And so that is very convenient for me. So it depends on the person. Nowadays the young generation are interested to go for the e-books. So they don't want to store it and they don't want to keep it with them. Just for some information, if you are interested, then go for that. But if you find that the book is very valuable and you buy it and keep it, hard copy of it. I have already, for your information, Dr. Jogeshwar Rao, actually I have around 200 books with me. I want to donate to some library because I'm afraid that after I leave this world, then I think it may get damaged by red ants, white ants. So I'm interested for that. That's what I wanted to tell you. But I have purchased many books. So around 200 books are there with me in rubber and polymer technology, engineering. So that way you can go ahead. And those who are interested in this technological developments, and I think they must go to the internet and find out details, and they will have a lot of knowledge about the neurons. Because I have read somewhere, that in 24 hours a man gets 60,000 thoughts. A man gets 60,000 thoughts in 24 hours. But those thoughts basically come and go. They go to the brain and they come back and they dissipate. But if you want to make it active, your brain active and productive, then those thoughts, whenever it comes, you have to implement them. If you go on implementing, then it will be useful and it will be productive. But if you leave it like that, it will dissipate and those thoughts will not be there. Yeah, there are neurons will close to each other, they will touch with each other, then they create a sensation, and that sensation will create some sort of wave to work with you. That gives the impetus to go for work. Anyway. Okay. So any other question if you have?
Any other questions from our participants? Faculty?
faculties and students.
How many of the participants are there? Any idea?
Actually, at the beginning there are more than 60 participants are there.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
now it is reduced due to lunch break, sir.
Yeah, to lunch break. Yeah, that's right. It got delayed actually because of. I thought that it will start at 11:30. Somehow you mentioned 12, and because I could not adjust my internet, so it got delayed 15 minutes by 15 minutes more. So, but anyway, before 1:30, I have already finished.
Okay, sir.
So thank you very
Ramesh
much,
sir.
Dr. Jogeshwari Raut and Dr. Nayak and Dr. Kuntia for inviting me for delivering the lecture, and I hope I was able to explain the technology properly. And because that's why I made it a little general one, but a little bit of rubber technology I spoke because all the developments in rubber technology, those have taken place in 130. Before 130, I have already finished technology. All the technology development. In the last 200 years, since 18th century, I can call it, because it was came to the limelight in 15th century. Then gradually people did not know what is this material. Then they tried to find out, analyze it, and find out. Then the rubber word was given by Joseph Priestley, who is the inventor of oxygen. He was working in his laboratory, and one day he came across this material which was given by this Columbus group. So he found that when he rub up these pencil marks on a paper, then it got erased. So then he called it rubber. So since that time, the name rubber exists. And it was only natural rubber, but gradually in 1830 onwards, synthetic rubbers were created. Then polymers came into picture. So then polymers dominated the field because it was easier to make products out of plastics than out of rubber. Rubber needs a technology. It needs compounding, it needs processing, it needs molding, it needs so many other careful processing has to be followed. But in plastic, usually you don't have to follow so many things. So you go and press it and you get a product out of that. So it became easier to get products from plastics than from rubber. So actually, this is many products are now made up of rubber. But in the meantime, thermoplastic elastomers have come up. It's a tri-block copolymer, or it's a blend of rubber and plastics. So we have also flooded the market nowadays. You will find that the plastics which are very hard and tough, you will find in market they are not so hard and tough because they are little soft and bendable. So these are basically due to introduction of rubber into the plastics. They are made with thermoplastic elastomers by blending rubber with plastics. And most of the products you will find that they are thermoplastic elastomers. With mixture of rubber and plastics. So this is a new technology that has been already going on in our country. So this is the scenario, the present day scenario of the country and in the world also. So okay, then thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Now I'm requesting Professor Pratibha Skintia, sir, Assistant Professor Mechanical Engineering Department, to give statement.
Okay, fine.
I, Pratibha Skintia, on behalf of Synergy Institute of Technology and the entire fraternity of the institution, first of all, extend my most sincere thanks to the Almighty God for making today's event a resounding one. With His blessing and grace, we are able to make this event what it was. On behalf of my institution, I extend a really hearty vote of thanks to our keynote speaker, Professor G.B.Nando sir, who spared time from his busiest schedule to grace the occasion. Today, we had an opportunity to hear your thoughts in particular experience, and this will surely be going to encourage us in our future events. I am immensely thankful to our Honorable Chairman Vinod sir for his continuous supporting towards this kind of event to carry on. I would like to give my honest sense of appreciation to our revered director, Professor Chitrasen Jagaddev sir, for his continuous nourishment for the conduction of this kind of co-curricular activities. I would like to extend my heartful thanks to our respected principal ma'am, Professor Dr. Jogeshwari Rao, for being the crucial one for the systematic accomplishment of this event. I am immensely thankful to our beloved HOD Professor Dr. Ramesh Chandra Naik sir for his week-long perspiration towards the controlled conduction of the event. Then I need to mention my deepest sense of appreciation to all the staff members for their enormous cooperation within the event. Then last but not the least, I would like to thank all the participants, students for their patiently hearing and boosting the spirit of the event. In a nutshell, I would like to give my thankful regards to all the individuals who spared their valuable time to make this event significant. Thank you all. Jai Jagannath.
Thank you very much. Dr. Raut, I'm closing it.